Are you a startup founder looking for funding, feeling cold in the funding winter? Want to understand the art and science of fundraising? Let us help you. Hi, I am Ankur Sareen, the co-founder of Entrepreneurs Media, and I bring to you the Entrepreneurs Media Spotlight, powered by Radicle. Stick with us till the very end. Spotlight is a weekly show that features people who, by their sheer will and perseverance, have been able to achieve great heights. Through this series, we will try to understand and know the human aspect of their journey. You know, वो बातें जो दिल के करीब हों. We will discuss their successes, challenges they faced, and most importantly, the failures they surmounted. After all, what is life but a giant roller coaster? To give this interview the desired structure, we have with us Mr. Nirmallya Roy Chowdhury. He is a brand asset creator and a mentor. He is the CEO and founder of Radicle, an ex-PNG and Ogilvy guy. He helps businesses turn their brands into asset. I would like to introduce our guest for the day. She is the founder and CEO at Convento, the best financial institution for supporting startups for the year 2022. She's an expert speaker. She is also a venture advisor with Loyal VC, the InSeed-led Canadian VC fund. Having participated in more than 200 talk shows, we are honored today to have her here with us on Spotlight. Without further ado, I present to you the very dynamic, very enterprising, and the very first guest on our show, Miss Vandana Tolani.
Good morning and welcome, Vandana, to Spotlight.
Thank you so much.
As we spoke that we are starting off this show at the time of Navratra with the woman Shakti and the woman power. Our first few guests will be women. So we're privileged to have you here, part of it. So, of course, as Ankur said, we'll always be exploring the human side of your entrepreneurship journey. So why don't you start with first, if we have to recap your life and say things once upon a time, it will start your story like once upon a time. What will you say?
Nirmallya, just to interject here for 1 second, I'll take your leave. I'll speak. I'll let the special guest get on a one-to-one with you, and I'll get back after the interview is over. Thank you so much for taking it over from here. Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
Warm welcome to you, Vandana.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, Vandana, once upon a time, if you have to tell your story.
So first of all, thank you for having me here. And it is a real honor to be the first one here. In fact, it is my privilege to be on your show. Once upon a time, I could say that, as a child, I never wanted to be boxed in with anything. So you can call me the rebel kind of a person who would always, want to do something out of the box. So if I had to work under somebody, it would be uncomfortable. If I had to, constantly do a 9 to 5 thing, it would get uncomfortable. Even in that, I had my own ways to do things. So I think essentially it started from there. I moved to Singapore and Jakarta, where I was owning a family office fund. Basically, I was the owner of the fund for over 15 years. I did a lot of deals in a lot of spaces, fintech, health tech, consumer tech, all over the world. After 15 years, I came back to India and came back to India with my 2 children.
Yeah, exactly. I was just coming to that point. So,
Yes.
Motherhood and entrepreneurship. How does
Yes.
both work together? That was the key thing which was my
Yes.
key question to you.
Yes. So when I came back to India, it was a fresh start again with 2 little kids. I had, not reconnected back in India with so many years. So, fresh starting with the network, fresh starting with everything. So I can say very proudly that I am a self-made woman because I had no backing. So people have backing of a father, people have backing of a husband, people have backing of a brother. So I had no backing. So I was on my own with two little kids. So I think that was my journey that began at that stage. Being an entrepreneur and being a mother is really a tough task because we have to manage a lot of things, operations at home and operations at work, and different hours of work where you have to dedicate a certain time and also pay attention to the kids, which is because it's their growing age. They need nurturing, they need a lot of things, emotional support with their homeworks, with a lot of things.
Any anecdotal story or interesting story in your mind which you felt challenged at both end yet you overcome?
Yeah, so uh, the children's school was in Gurgaon, and I was 45 kilometers away in Delhi doing some work. Where the school called suddenly that the buses have stopped working, and I have to pick them up. So I had to drop everything wherever I was and just rush to the kids. I think it was very difficult because I had something important here also, and I had to deal with that situation also. And like if the children used to play sports and all, whenever the child would fall in school or fall sick, that the school would call. So those days were very challenging that you had to be in both the places, and one would always get left out. Why it took me 8 years to reach here, it could have taken me only 2 years or 3 years because I didn't have the backing. I was on my own. So everything I had to do single handedly. So you can say there was no second wheel, third wheel, or even the fourth wheel. So वो जो सर्कस में एक जोकर होता है जो एक साइकिल पे चल रहा होता है.
Correct.
My situation was something like
जोकर और जगलर
हाँ
मॉम.
जगलर मॉम वो था तो so it's I think I'm sure there must be single fathers also going through those kind of things, but I think for a mother, for a lady, it's a bit different because if I am a man, I can just even today, I wouldn't dare to pick up my car at 9 p.m. at night and go somewhere for a meeting. That thing just doesn't come in me. But if I was a man, maybe I could have done that. So that would have been, a different situation. And even traveling at nights, coming back late, slightly late, is jittery in the cabs. That time, now we have loose smart, of course, cabs, but before we had these Olas and Ubers that were not so up to the mark. Now they have really come up with good stuff. So it's a kind of a journey that everybody goes through. So this connects with me. Apart from that, being accepted.
Okay.
So, like there were certain men in the business saying, do you think she can do this? Do you think she can manage money in a fund? Um, you think she can manage things with her two kids? So those kind of comments used to come up. And because I didn't focus on that and I just focused on my journey, so I outrighted all that. So you have to just brush off that and not let it hit your ego and just move on the productive area. And I think that is what made me achieve. And I can also say the Dr. Kiran Bedi was awarding me, and I had no clue. Okay, so these guys had called me and for the they said, "Ma'am, aapko aana hai," and all. So then I was leaving the conference room and I said, "Pata nahi kya hai ye," I was just leaving. I was so tired already, entire day, and So the lady called me inside. She said, "आप 5 मिनट के लिए आ जाओ बस, then आप चले जाना." And I said, "ठीक है." And I was about to leave, and I was at the door when my name was announced. So
Oh,
that was like a real shock to me that, I'm getting the award because there were other investment bankers there. So it was kind of funny. And, that time there were this male investment banker who wrote this long thing to me at 4 a.m. in the morning that, how did you get the award? Come outside and fight with me. Something like that.
oh,
That,
open challenge.
open challenge. And then I'm like, what
Hmm.
is this guy writing,
Hmm. So
So then
that must have brought the Durga, the Shakti in you, correct?
no, I was so upset that I went and showed the message to the organizers, and I said, "Look, I didn't know I'm getting the award. I mean,
Uh,
it's not my fault that I got the award, and this guy is writing this." So, I think these things. I'm telling you the insights. This is what even a woman faces being an entrepreneur. And if I have a lot of male investment banking people. So they have their alumni, they have their support from the friends. I had lost touch with my alumni. I had no support, this, that. So I still went on. So it's the perseverance, patience, and consistency that one needs to have, whether it's a male or a female, that helps them move forward, I feel.
correct,
So I think
correct.
that we need to keep, and also because I'm very calm most of the time, I believe in, doing things with a subconscious mind. And hence, these things didn't affect me so much. um, but yes, I don't really let out my anger. I would just walk away, or uh, be silent for some time. But I wouldn't just throw bad words to anybody. That's just not in me. But these things happen all around us. So I think that needs to stop somewhere, because everybody is here to work, whether it's a male, whether it's a female,
Hmm.
whether it's anybody, you
So,
know.
what was your in the journey? What was, or what day or anything was a turning point for you? If you remember anything, which is you thought, yes, that was really the turning point for my life, for my entrepreneurship journey.
So it was the COVID period,
Oh.
and uh, in COVID we had nothing to do. It's
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
just like, and I'm so productive all the time that
Hmm.
it was like hitting me in from inside that kuch ho nahi
Hmm.
raha, like now what to do, because everybody was in that shock state during
Correct.
COVID.
Hmm.
So this lady, she came up to me and she said, I want to have this interview with you on
Hmm.
VC culture.
Oh, okay.
And she was from a big legal firm. And then that was my first talk
Okay.
that started. And post that, I just got, invited to a channel called VCTV, where I just started giving talks every day. So I felt so good about it that because I could, just sit on a chair and at least give those talks, and, my mind was still functioning in the right manner. So that was a blessing.
Hmm.
And also there was a sudden shift in everything. In the business, a sudden shift happened. And at that point, when COVID had started,
Hmm.
just before that, uh, about you can say 8 to 9 months before that, all the doors had shut for me. My
Oh.
family doors, friends doors. Like I couldn't see any door left open. And that's when the universe opened for me so many other doors that I had not tapped in. So, it just shifted everything, and the business took a turn. Everything just took a, big turn that way. Oh, I started getting awards. Somebody came up to me and said, you've done a lot of work. Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't think of that. Somebody came up to me and gave the name Convanto. before the name was something else.
In fact, one of my questions is actually there will come and decipher that what convento. So
Yeah, so Convanto means consultant Vandana Tolani.
oh,
Uh, it started when somebody was just speaking to me who's into brands and all, and we were talking about his deal. And I said, look, I'm going to help you with your deal, but we do charge, etc. And also, he just said, I want to do something for you. So let's do this barter thing. And I'll do this for you and you do that for me. And I'm like, okay. Then he started talking to me. So I was telling him a lot of things. And suddenly I think he realized that, I'm very connected to the consultant Vandana Tolani thing. So he just put that as he said, you want to have that? And then that's when just Convanto started. And I said, why not? So
nice.
everything was like I met angels,
Understood.
who helped me.
So
I can tell you the first, my daughters did my website. An
oh,
entire website is done by my daughter who was at 16 that time.
hmm.
Because we were so free, we had nothing to do during COVID. We said, चलो हम website को अच्छे से करते हैं.
Hmm. So that
So
means COVID for everybody else was a stopper for you. It was a door opener for you. It was the gateway to next level or next orbit, as we call it.
yeah, because it made me so comfortable that I don't
Hmm.
have to meet anybody. When we women have to go to meet somebody,
Hmm.
we have to think a lot.
Correct.
Which office we are going to, what is the place. We have to check on the founders, whether it's safe to go there, who has referred. So if it's referred by somebody, then, like you happily go there and all. But, then you have to also keep your vigilant eye towards safety. So
Yeah, I
it was
understand.
for me like I was sitting happily on this chair and doing like back to back 24 meetings till night 11, 12 o'clock. So it was a gala time, which wherein the physical thing I could only do 4 meetings in a day.
Understood. Understood.
So it was like, this was like a boon.
Okay. So, although you said you are a calm mind and calm mother, but what keeps you awake in the night?
What keeps me awake in the night? How you know that? I
So,
think, the night time is just for my thoughts.
okay.
So everything is at peace, everybody is quiet, there's no doorbell ringing, there's
Hmm.
no phone calls constantly ringing,
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, there's also no meetings, nobody texting you that time. So it's just my own thoughts and myself that keep me awake at times. And what's the plan for next morning? And that's the time I think you connect best with the universe also.
Okay. And what satisfies you the most?
So I'll tell you, we do a lot of service to the poor near
Okay.
the temple, where we have about 20 kids that we help with their schools, with their books, with their clothes. So they come up to me with their demands. आज पेंसिल चाहिए, आज ये चाहिए, आज मुझे बर्गर खाने का दिल है, So they come with those things. So
Hmm.
then so I think that satisfies me the most, because we are giving to somebody who actually requires that and is thankful for that. So I think that is what, so the day we have done that service, it's a different day. Just feel that, it's utilized in that manner.
So, in your service, consulting, and all these things, have you or thought of any breakthrough idea or breakthrough thing which you are sort of in the pipeline or sort of you're planning something in your mind?
Yeah, so about 6 months back, I wanted to be a finance influencer.
Hmm.
And I wanted to just start my own podcast, but I didn't know the way out, so I just left it there. I also wanted to write a book, though I've been covered in a book which has been released on Amazon in the month of August. but it covers stories of 25 women entrepreneurs.
Oh,
And one of which is myself, and the book has gone to Pradhan Mantri ji and the finance minister as well. But I would also like to write my own book, and in the near future would want to be a
oh,
finance influencer. So that was thing, and do C, D, and E series. D. I'm
understood.
still looking for,
So
that.
your investment philosophy is largely as of now until the A series or the seed stage thing.
So I'll tell you. So
Hmm.
we have done in our 8 years journey,
Hmm.
total 165 investments in more than 35 countries. Our ticket size is $1 million to $100 million. We are sector agnostic, but we don't do liquor, solar, and real estate.
Okay.
And these three sectors I am away from. So every time when we finish a 50 million, we open the seven. Like now, our ticket size is still 75 million. We
Okay.
finished the 75 million. We have reached. We have opened it for now 100 million. So I'm looking to do a 100 million now.
Hmm.
So this is what. So, but I would, uh, in the sense that I want to do that till that E series, and have that thing in your story that she did E series, you know, that kind of a thing. So that's not yet come.
What motivates you to get up every morning and start jogging or start keeping your whole entrepreneurship
Yeah.
journey?
I wake up 5 in the morning, and I do, there's certain prayers that I do. Then I kickstart, do walks, or sometimes I do Zumba. I choose between the two. I go to the temple every morning, and then I start by 9:30, 10. So what gives me this, because I love the work that I'm doing, and
Hmm.
also because uh, my mind is at peace now after so much that has turned my life. It's so much at peace, and there's so much gratitude that I have to give to the universe, that I feel that every morning I have to just kick start my journey, and
Hmm.
just keep self motivation always on, because there's so much work, so much happening around us. And I'm very excited about the work I do always. I look
Hmm.
forward for a new day every day. So I think that keeps me motivated and keeps going on. And I always like to start early, because early morning, that time is for yourself. That time also you won't get
So
calls. You
you're an
get
early riser, but you sometimes keep awake in the night also.
Yeah.
That's
So
not.
I sleep by 1 sometimes, and then I'm up again. Uh, there are days when I'm awake till the entire night also, but I'm fresh the next day. And sometimes, when I'm really tired, I might sleep off by 10 also. When I'm like really physically, mentally, everything is like
Okay.
gone for a toss that day. So that's the thing. It's
My
just
next
the
question.
cycle,
Okay. My next question is a little hypothetical question, but
right?
question is basically, suppose you build all this 8 years into that, and tomorrow morning you wake up and you find everything disappeared. What will you do? What will you feeling?
I'll tell you, there's a story about this person who had built everything from scratch, and he had built a big factory and everything, and the factory burned. So
Hmm.
the first thing he did was to sit down and see what resources he has. So I think because I've had 3 times 0 to 100, 0 to 100, 0 to 100, तो वो practice हो गई है उस चीज को हैंडल करने के लिए. तो आई थिंक वो विल पावर होना चाहिए, एंड एट दैट पॉइंट यू हैव टू चेक व्हाट योर रिसोर्सेज
Okay.
आर,
Okay.
and I don't think I mean this
Because
is going to happen.
this question is really important because you being, let's say, consultant to lot of entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
And entrepreneurs face this challenge of extinction,
Yeah, yeah.
and because of the business model, because of the situation, laws, any of this part of it. So that's why that's good tip that you have to count your resources. That's the key tip, isn't it?
Yeah, also, during COVID time, I met many people who were doing really well,
Hmm.
essentially in their journey, and suddenly they had been kicked out of jobs.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, what happened was they were starting this entrepreneur journey, but they didn't know simple tools like have your WhatsApp story that doesn't cost you, right? A Facebook story, keep your LinkedIn enhanced, keep your website in order. There are so many things that we overlook, and we think that people are not observing, but people do observe us through these platforms. So I think then I reminded her and I said, look, you need to do this, and that really changed her life. So I think those time I had already experienced that people coming to me and asking me. So you know uh, I would know the way out. Of course, at one point, even I was doing that when I first come to India.
Hmm.
And, so I think we should keep our network always active. That is another thing. Our network is our human capital.
Correct.
Uh,
Okay, so if I have to ask you to describe Convento or Vandana Tolani in one sentence, what will be that sentence?
you mean the full form of Conmanto?
No, no, not the full form. I'm saying Vandana Tolani, the person in one sentence.
Vandana Tolani in one sentence. What do I say? Uh, Iron Woman. Iron Woman. The
Iron
Iron Lady.
Woman. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wow. Okay.
Vandana Tolani, the
You
Iron
got it down to two words because my next question was to one word. So you almost got there, the Iron Woman to that. Of course, I give a credit to you, mother. So that's the resolve, steel resolve, iron resolve to
Yeah.
that. Okay.
You can say the woman of steel.
Okay. And how do you pitch yourself to the prospective entrepreneur? That
I don't need to pitch actually. When I get a deal, I start evaluating them and we ask questions and all. It's already referred through somebody. They've already researched about me well if
mm,
they've come on the platform, but they do ask me about my background. So then I just say that this was my background.
mm,
Um, I've never really pitched, but if I would always send my profile to people. Like
mm,
I did send to Ankur Ji my profile
mm,
because I wanted him to know like this is
mm,
what is my background. So
mm,
I think the best way to do is that always share your profile, because suddenly if you text somebody or somebody texts you and it's the first time, they
mm.
must know who you are. Uh, and I always share my LinkedIn profile. I always share, my things essentially.
Okay. Coming to the space you are in, which is the investment banking and investor part of it, and what's the key top three things which you look in an entrepreneur or a business before you consider them to be on board?
Okay. So what we do is we do look at what is the founder's background. That is very, very essential. We do look at what is something destructive that they are bringing on board and what is the problem that they are solving. And yeah, we do look at the revenues, whether, what is the potential in revenues.
Hmm.
These are the three things before we onboard a company with us. And we do some ref checks on them before we, check out to the client. Any decks that come to us, we have our network of UK, Singapore, and Dubai based investors whom we discuss the deal with and get the first or second level of interest before we pick up the deal.
as of now, when you do the deals, you're quite into angel level also, or you're
Yeah, we do below 1 million, but we don't announce because then we get all kinds of deals. Like we don't do idea stage at all.
okay?
We wouldn't pick up any idea stage. Now, there was one deal that was very high end deal. The founder already had two heavy startups, and then there was a third one. Uh, and because the founder had such a good background, and the third one, though the technology wasn't ready and all, we did pick up that deal and we did finish the work. So that was something different.
So practically, without POC, you don't actually get into it.
Yeah. Because see, we had two kids that came to us with their parents' money, and they said, "हमें cricket app बना." And I'm like, "ये क्या कर रहे हो आप? किसका money है?" Mom is into a bank. Father is working somewhere as a CA. उनका money उठा के आप. So you can't do such things, right? So we have to educate them that ये मत करो. आप उसमें आप then we guide them आप उसमें क्या क्या दूसरी things कर सकते हैं. I think these are the things, but we definitely the standard of companies that we get is much more than a 1 million. The founders are well established, they have good revenues, they're doing already some good work. So those we pick up. We do pick up below that also, but generally that is also I'm picky on that. But I did help a boy day before yesterday. He had posted on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I did help him just like that.
Okay. So what was your key to helping him? What did just like that? How did just like that happen?
So I think the way he came up to me, and he had just given his 12th standard, and he was struggling with so much, and he didn't know a direction. Maybe he wanted some direction in there. And so so the key was that his own hard work and the way he presented himself and the mannerisms that he projected and his vision. So this women have this sixth sense also. So
that I'll give you credit. I'll not debate a woman on sixth sense.
Yeah, so I think that just gave me the kick there, and I said I did connect him to a few places, and I said, now when you finish this, you come back to me and tell me. So I think that was it.
In this whole startup game, last 7 years, 8 years, you've seen also how one wave of particular sector comes in, then goes off, and even investors also favor that. I've seen at one point of time, logistics was a hot sector. Now logistics is a very, very not touchable sector. Now tech logistics, tech-driven logistics. All of a sudden, tech-driven logistics is no more touch part of it. Then early 2020s, when the whole lockdown happened, I've seen huge number of entrepreneurs who have come into the cosmetic segment because of one big story, and that part of it. There are fueling, at least there are now, I've seen at least 17 or 18 new brands which have cropped up in the last 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
Similar the space with the beverages segment. So many brands now, more than 20, 25 of segments, new category D2C brands have come up all of a sudden. So how do you actually ride this wave, or how do you actually negate this sort of wave? How do you cherry pick? How do you cherry pick? That's what.
Yeah. So long time ago, when fintech had come in, nobody knew what is fintech, and this person had come to me, and the name of the company really attracted me, and nobody believed in him, and I believed. So I had got 3 term sheets for this fellow that time. That time everybody said, ये ऐसे वैसे, ये fintech क्या होता है, ऐसे. Then fintech. So in India and abroad and all over the world, there is this herd mentality.
That's
people,
what I was coming to.
Yeah, so everybody wants to follow what is the trend. जैसे फैशन में भी ट्रेंड होता है,
हम्म,
ठीक है, उसी तरीके से सब एवरीबडी वांट्स टू गेट इनटू दिस ट्रेंड थिंग, व्हाट एवर इज द ट्रेंड, ऑटोमेटिकली एक इन्वेस्टर दूसरे से कॉम्पीट करके अच्छा वो उसमें डाल रहा है, मैं भी ऐसा करके दिखाऊंगा।
भेड़ चाल बोलते हैं हिंदी में हम।
हाँ हाँ, तो वो दे डोंट लुक एट दिस थिंग, सो देयर आर टाइम्स आई हैव नेगेटेड दैट also. We have done a logistics deal through one of our investors, so also it's the way we present the story. Now, why do we call it the art and science of fundraise? That we need to sell our story. Now, we as Convanto help you create that story via your documentations, which is your pitch deck, your financial models, business plan, and we present it to the investors in the right manner with the right, format. So they have, put in the investment that is required. Now, essentially, now D2C is the buzz. Yeah. If you look at it, D2C is the buzz now. Now, in D2C also, before people would say, "ये क्या कर रहे हैं?" A few years back, ये नहीं चलेगा. But everything चल जाता है because the way the D2C now, if you see Nykaa's story, uh, in Nykaa, what had happened was that she left her job um of so many years, and suddenly at the age of 40-45 she started. So that story gave the buzz to Nykaa, I would say. That देखा वो woman ने करके दिखा दिया. So that is the thing. I think everybody's story. Then that Shark Tank came in. That gave another buzz to the D2C thing.
Correct.
Though
Shark
I
Tank
was
has actually created this whole mad rush on becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So though I was not so happy with the way it was done, but yes, Shark Tank also is one of the things that created the buzz. So I would get talk invites with my name as Shark on it. She is the Shark of India.
Oh. But that itself has a negative connotation. But I understand looking at you and the thing, you have quite a lot of positivity exuding out of it, and you have been talking so. So moving it forward, looking, what are the other sunrise sectors or characters sort of which you are seeing on the horizon, which will actually be a good bet?
Health tech, AI, robotics, Web3. These are some of the hot sectors right now. These would really play an important role. So that is something that I look forward to. EdTech is not completely over yet. There is some good EdTechs happening. It is slowed down. FinTech also, some good ones are happening. Then we have a lot of food tech that has come into, this thing. And I also look for more solutions, like solution to diabetes, solutions to food management, solutions to not getting into chemotherapy and,
alternative medicine.
Yeah, so these, I think more I would want to look at those. Elderly care is a space where really I'm interested in as well. And of course, AI, robotics, blockchain. So from India, I don't get those deals, but from abroad, I get blockchain, Web3, crypto from all over the world. But when it comes to India, I don't get those kind of deals.
Okay.
Because people are still skeptical. And if I do get also, they don't know what they're doing. They just know the name blockchain.
Correct. Okay. So now moving on to the categories and sectors you were saying, is there a particular style or a theme of your investments, or the way you sort of present the stories or anything which is there?
Since we have been in the industry for over 20 years, we are very well versed that investor doesn't spend more than 90 seconds on a mail or a deck or a
Mm-hmm.
video that is presented to them. So we format things for the startup in that manner. So any of our decks, not necessarily they'll have to do the fundraise from us. If they take it to any investor, they would definitely get investments because we follow the global standard format.
Okay.
And that gives them the idea that okay, this is how it needs to be presented. There was a food deal where a woman founder was there, and we had picked up our work. We finished her documentation, and she had gone to this food fair in Pragati Maidan, where I met her, and she said, "You know, I've never seen such a better deck. I'm so happy with your company that I really feel that I am blessed that I fell in the right hands." So there are a lot of recommendations also written about us on our website, testimonials. So I think that's how we do it. We follow certain criteria once the company signs up. We handhold them from end to end, from the start till the end. So, and we are always engaged with them. So even if it's my client messages me at any hour, they know that I will always be there for them. I've hardly missed any calls with any client of mine or not reverted to their messages or anything. So we are very constantly in touch with them because sometimes they start self doubting themselves, and that's when we need to uplift them.
Is there any in your story that any of the clients you have refused or you have not found merit in their pitch, but later on you sort of seemed like you missed the bus. You went on to do with somebody else, and then he or she, any such anecdotal where you felt that you missed the bus?
Uh, Not actually. I haven't missed the bus yet. I'm still on the bus actually, trying to reach my destination.
Uh,
Uh, so
then
I
coming to that, what's your destination?
destination is that I want to look at myself on the first page of Forbes.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, I want to be the finance influencer. Apart from that, I want to create this buzz that women can do finance, women can manage money, women can do everything. They
So
are
the
humans.
breaking the stereotypes.
Yeah, so they are humans.
Hmm.
I mean, um, the very like my goal is that that I have to. It's not only for myself; it's for many other women that now that look upon to me that I have to create that as well. But of course, Forbes, like I said, I want to do an E-series deal. I want to reach that level, and now we are a 10 members team. I wanted to make a 20 members, 30, 40 members team, and
I was just
have.
coming to because entrepreneurship is also your entrepreneurship is also about team. So
Yeah.
just coming to the next bit, who all or who else is a backbone in your company?
So we are a small 10 members team. They are all budding young entrepreneurs, I could say. We give them flexible hours of time and flexible days as long as the work finishes. We have CA, we have content writers, we have designers, we have a finance team, we have a
Okay.
research team as well that sits on it, and then I have one assistant that assists me.
Okay.
So these are my pillars, you can
Okay.
say, tiny small pillars that I have around me,
Hmm.
and these are usually with me all the time. And I think it's difficult that life would function without them because naturally they help in so much work creation, though everything goes under me, the final go, but still. Uh,
I just want to hear about your top three success stories of the brand. practically which you help?
So, since we have signed strict NDAs with these firms, I cannot take their names, but yes, we have helped a D2C brand, which was very successful. That happened in 2 months back. We
Okay.
have helped a edtech company that people were not believing in, but their turnover was good. We
Mm.
helped them with a good raise
Mm.
as well. Apart from this, we have helped an elderly care company and got them with the funds that they required. These are the last three that I have done.
So almost we're coming to an end, but okay. My one of my key questions is, what is the secret sauce of Vandana Tolani?
What secrets?
That secret sauce which she wants to sort of share with others now.
There is no secret. I am actually a quite straightforward and open person
Mm.
when it comes to dealing with anybody. In fact, people call and tell me you're very straightforward. Thank you. That you didn't beat around the bush in the
Mm,
call.
mm,
Like if I cannot do, I'll say ये मैं नहीं कर सकती. आप पहले ये सब change करके आओ. If I can do, I'll say ठीक है. This is the way I will do. These will be my commercials. Take it or leave. So this is the thing. So essentially, there's no secret, but yeah, the secret to success I can share is
yeah.
that believe in yourself thoroughly and have faith. Just like there is a law of gravity
Mm,
that works every day constantly, there is a law of attraction that is working towards everything. So, whatever thoughts we are thinking, we're actually getting into that direction of, in manifesting that. Think with the, you know, what do you call, it seems your screen froze, but I don't know if it's my thing or it's your thing or so I'm not sure. I, is it my screen or what is it? I think you're.
Yeah. That's technology for you. I'm on mute and I'm speaking to you. So his network went off, I think. So that happens, but that's okay. So you were talking about the secret success. So success of
Yeah. So
basically.
I think one needs to believe strongly in their self and not listen. I wouldn't say not listen, but not let it seep in what others say. Usually, because then start thinking low about yourself. And secret to success is that believe in yourself, be perseverance, have the patience to work with consistency, and believe that the universe is always on your back and it's not going to leave you. Of course, we need to also work with our conscious things.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I had a couple of my questions to be answered by you. So
Yeah,
as a let's say I am a young entrepreneur who's starting off in my life with a startup in any segment. So
yeah.
any 4 or 5 tips I should be ready with before I start thinking of getting some funding or getting into that race of getting funds, raising funds for my company. So any
Yeah.
5 tips which that young entrepreneur should have.
So the first tip is that at least 2 years work in a corporate, do the hustle, grill and toast yourself, save enough money before you get into entrepreneurship. Money has to be yours only, not your parents, not your brothers. Then later on, when you look for funds, you can take something to from your family and friends. Essentially, because whoever gives you money will always have an upper hand. So it's better to have your own money and do your own things. One is that. Second is that when you're starting fresh, you need to have a private limited company, at least 2 to 3 founders, and a team that complements each other. A marketing team, a technology team, operations. So that complements with each other. That will help you grow fast. Don't just tap any VC. If it's a food company, don't tap a technology VC. If it's a technology company, don't tap a food, thing. Make sure that you've studied about them enough before you essentially get into this. And first, it is important to bootstrap as much as you can, then go into the funding process, because essentially it's not a trend to do that. There are pros and cons to a lot of things. Make a pitch deck, a financial model, and a business plan by a professional. Don't just put your hands into it and make something that wouldn't work out, or make 60 slides, like that.
So
That's
coming to that,
wonderful. Yeah, Nirmallya, you're back. So,
thanks.
yes,
I think Satish Lord worked on it.
technology played havoc with us today, but that's okay. I think I jumped in at the right time with my mic on mute, and then I had to unmute it. But that's fine. That's part of life. I think we go through these
Okay.
ups and downs every day. So I was just talking to Vandana about 5 tips for fresh entrepreneurs who are coming up with their startups. So she wonderfully described those. I have just one more question from my side, and then I'll hand over to Nirmalya.
Sure, sure.
So, when you say that, as you mentioned in this last segment, that if you're a, let's say, food tech company, don't go to a fintech guy to fund your business. How do you identify? How do you reach that? I mean, how does a person who's passed out of college get in touch with you?
I could be reached out through my website, through LinkedIn. I'm there on Instagram. Youngsters are always buzzing me there. I'm on Twitter. Uh, on my website, there's a button that reaches straight to my WhatsApp. You can just click that. Also, I have built relationships with these fund owners, staying in the market for 20 years. So essentially, one needs to build relationships, and that's the key to it. And also check their website before you approach them. What are they into? So you're not approaching. Make sure your LinkedIn is always enhanced, your website is always running and up, and then you reach out to somebody, because everybody's time is precious, whether it's yours, whether it's theirs. We could be looking at thousands of things, emails in a day, and that's when we could miss out on somebody, or think, okay, so it's better to like appreciate people's time, I guess.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so Nirmalya, over to you.
That so I was almost on the last stage of this thing. So like we'll close this with last question of what's your mantra of life?
Mantra.
Mantra of life.
My mantra for life is that anybody who is criticizing you is doing less than. So you and the only that person will criticize you because they are doing less than. Otherwise, any sane person would never criticize you. They will only uplift you. So focus on your growth, your productivity. Don't focus so much on criticism. Essentially, we are all flowers. So if we look at if you take two plants, and if you constantly praise a plant, you will see that plant is blooming. And if you constantly say bad things to a plant, that plant would dry off. So I think it's very important. The key is appreciate each and every person you meet and help them recognize their skills. You don't know what the words of yours can help them, or what level at that time they are, that you are just say. So I think that thing needs to. So that's my mantra. Apart from this, just believe in yourself totally. Read the book Power of the Subconscious Mind. Uh, that will help you take decisions with the center mind. And, at any point in time, just be yourself, because essentially nobody is perfect. I mean, I'm not a perfect person. I could have, 10, 20 flaws in me, and people keep making mistakes. So be less judgmental and just keep moving with the flow. And that's when you attract good things.
That's a really, really good mantra to have. So that's the so-called self-actualization mantra, if I
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
put it like that.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Sure. That's a good chat. I think we already are 1 hour almost part of it. So thanks for being our first on the spotlight, and we love that part of it, and it takes off fantastically for us. And look forward to sort of interacting with you, both me and I think Ankur would also meet up with you, and
Definitely.
definitely we'll chat up and we can sort of be helping each other and leveraging each other's strengths also.
Definitely. Would love to meet you. And thank you for making me the first one in this. I
Sure,
hope you reach 100 and whatever
sure,
is your
definitely,
destination.
sure,
And wish you all the very best and good luck.
sure.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thank you for
thank
sparing
you.
time for us,
Bye,
and wonderful
bye.
talking to you.
Sure. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.